This past 48 hours has been wild as a Kingdom Hearts fan. We have gotten quite a bit of good and bad news at the same time, so emotions are quite reeling. But today, we are going to be talking about the latest thing in the Kingdom Hearts community, and that is new Kingdom Hearts 4 screenshots. Now you're probably thinking, screenshots? Yes, screenshots. And not just anything screenshots, but screenshots that have a ton of things to dissect, examine, and that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to be taking a look at the screenshot and we're going to be examining it just a little bit closer and seeing all that we can possibly see. Sit back, relax, and get ready to do some screenshot analysis with me. All right, so my bad for the clap. All right, so this image was released by the official Kingdom Hearts Twitter site, X, whatever you want to call it, last night around 6 p.m. And like I said, this is a lot to take in. There are a total of 7 screenshots here. There is also one more included as well, and we're going to also be taking a look at that. But there is a lot to unpack here, and that's why I'm so excited. As a lore keeper, as a person who loves to theorize, there is quite a bit to work with in only these 7. So you may be wondering why I said that there was one extra image beyond just the 7 that we've seen, and that is because there was another screenshot released, however, from a different angle, showing even more interesting things within the photo, which I'm super excited to take a look at again. We're going to start off with the very top here. The very top, we have, let me try to zoom this in a little bit. So first of all, we're going to take a look at this top image. This is an image of Sora and the new location, which we all assume to be Shibuya at this point. There is a lot to take in here. One is Sora's new fit from the previous iteration. We had seen Sora in shorts. This time around, he has some joggers on. Of course, he has his new shoes on. He does have what we appear to be a smartwatch here, so we may be getting rid of the phone, question mark, from Kingdom Hearts 3 and moving on to smartwatches. We are advancing in technology. He has the Kingdom Key. Of course, he does look a little bit younger here, which is kind of funny to me. The next thing we can see in the photo is that Sora is, of course, using some type of ride ability. These are linked to, kind of funny, links and chains also attached to the iconic heart motif that they have. This very much looks similar to some of these do look heavily similar to some of the things that we see in Melody of Memory. I don't know if they're going to be connected at all. However, they do look extremely similar. I'll put a picture up here for you guys to see how similar they look to one another. But that's kind of, I wonder if they're going to be implementing a little bit of Melody of Memory into the newest game, since it was canonically important. I do love Melody of Memory a lot, so it would be nice to see some of the little features be included in that as well. The next thing we are looking at here is going to be these new, what we are going to assume are going to be Heartless. Now down here we have what appears to be a new type of shadow. These shadows are very interesting looking because they seem to be able to stretch their arms, or at least grow their arms, seemingly because this one has such a large hand that they are able to stretch and manipulate their bodies in some way. They also look very skeletal, like this is very much a human anatomy skeleton. You can see the ribs, the spine, down to the hip bones, all the way down to normal feet. So I'm wondering if the appearance of the new dark side that we see are manipulating the humans that I'm going to assume are here into temporarily Heartless puppets, or if this is a new type of Heartless that are very much human-like compared to the others. Now back here is we have some new Heartless. They look like they're going to be tanky Heartless. They look like they are also made of a rock or maybe a metal material, and are going to be able to shoot projectiles from their arms. So these ones are pretty interesting as well. The other thing that we also get a little bit of a chance to see is the UI over here. Very similar. It seems like we're bringing back the Kingdom Hearts 2 UI, where it matches the area that you are in. Thankfully, seemingly they have hidden the area that we are in currently, but we have something called build now, which I'm very curious to know what it is. We of course we have items, and it shows how many items are in your inventory. What I'm assuming, it also seems that we can change attack here. I wonder if this will be changing your Keyblade, considering the Keyblade just like in Kingdom Hearts 3. And then we have our magic, of course. And then over here we have our portraits. I'm wondering if the portraits will be very expressive as they were in some of the past games. We also have our health bar, our magic meter, and this I'm going to assume might be our drive bar unless they add some new mechanic to the game, but I'm going to assume that this might be our drive gauge. There is no label here, no indicator, so I am very curious to see what exactly this gauge is, but it does remind me of the drive gauges, so hopefully it's that. Moving on to the second photo, this is similar to the other one that we just looked at, but it's from a different angle and has a few other things that we can take a look at. Once again, we are in a different location from the first photo. However, we are still seeing Sora still riding the chain link. But then behind Sora, we do have one of these new shadow Heartless creatures making an attack. And once again, like I said, there is a stretch here where it seems like the Heartless are able to manipulate their body in order to do and make attacks, which will be interesting to see how their attack patterns are, or if they're going to be as manipulative as some of the nobodies were. If you all remember how stretchy and how nobodies were able to shapeshift, change their forms, and things like that. I'm wondering if these Heartless are going to be somewhat similar in the way that they manipulate their appearance to change up their attacks. We also have another color variant of the new rock monster. This one is red, which kind of seems like it's overheating, so I'm wondering if it might be the same, because it still has kind of a pinky purple hue. I'm wondering if it's charging up an attack or if it'll actually be something completely different. Now over here we have another new Heartless to look at, or what I'm going to assume is a Heartless. Based off of the fact that there is a heart over here, I'm going to assume it's just another Heartless variant. But this one seems more mechanical. It kind of looks like one of those like helicopter type machine, but that's what we have over here. So we're looking at 3 new Heartless types here, and we have an even closer look on what they look like up close. This is actually pretty terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. Now I actually think that these Heartless are pretty terrifying. I used to think that the Neo shadows were a bit scary. However, I think these ones definitely will take the cake for ones that are a little too creepy, especially in this new art style. I think that they look even more creepy than normal. Usually I think the Heartless are very cute, but these ones are a little concerning. But it does make me excited to see what other new Heartless variants that we're going to get, and which ones are going to be making a return as well. The next thing we're going to look at over here is our baby sister. We are looking at Strelitzia. Strelitzia is making a return, and she also has a graphical update from the trailer. Now, this is the image that we have from the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer compared to the screenshots. As you can see, there are a few updates to her look. I do personally prefer the one on the right a little bit more. It gives me more of the Kingdom Hearts cartoony sense. However, you can see They definitely made some changes. It could be lighting, but her hair appears a little bit darker. So as you can see, her eye shape is a little bit more sharper. She has a little bit thinner eyebrows, thinner lips. They have elongated her nose a little bit. Here, it's not as up tilted as before. They definitely have given her more, I guess, like volume in her hair. Her hair is a little bit darker as well, but it's very cute. She definitely looks really good. Like I said, I do prefer the right a little bit more out of preference for the style, but I do think that she's looking so adorable. I am curious to see how big of a role she's going to play this time around, and if we're going to see some characters make a comeback here, especially with the events of Kingdom Hearts 3. So that's going to be really exciting. So we do have that. The next thing that we also have been showcased mysteriously and seemingly is a phone. This phone has been taking the community by storm because it is the first time that we have really a phone that's not our gummy phone in the series, and what this would represent. There are people saying that this could be a wind phone. If you do not know what a wind phone is, it is a vintage type of rotary phone that isn't connected to any type of phone line or network. It's usually used by those who want to express their thoughts, emotions. It's usually connected to loss, grief, and once again, as we can see in Kingdom Hearts, that is definitely something that has been tackled, especially in the most recent of games. So I think that this theory that this could be a wind phone is very interesting. However, I also do think that there is a possibility and a theory of mine that Sora is going to be contacted by the other side, and it's going to be what drives him to go find his friends. It is still in the same realm of a wind phone. However, Sora won't be able to answer, but Sora will be able to hear the thoughts. And I think that that would be very interesting and very impactful. And I kind of hope that's what they do with it, and give Sora some motivation to kind of figure out where he is and how to get back to his friends. The next image that we have is the one that I have been locked in on. I have not stopped researching this image for the life of me, and that is the library. The library here, let me back this up a little bit. The library here is what's really interesting to me. First off, we have, once again, we have King Mickey here, which I'm assuming is going to be a playable character. We also have the UI here with just attack, which is really interesting to me. They also took away the very decorative UI from the first photo and replaced it with kind of the basic UI that we normally have in Kingdom Hearts 1. Here instead, I'm wondering if they're doing it so that we don't have an inkling of where this location is. There's also some other things to notice here. I know the image is a little bit blurry, but I have been looking at these symbols here, trying to figure out if they're if they're connected to anything. And I think that me and a ton of people are a bit correct that this is probably going to be Scala. Now, of course, for me, I had to go and try to check out every single area that I can remember that had books. This included Hollow Bastion. This also included the mansion from Twilight Town, and as of 2019, we also had the room mod for Kingdom Hearts 3 that was uploaded by the 13th Vessel. I will put the link to that video for you down below, which also showed the inside of Ericus and Xehanort's classroom, because I was trying to find any sort of connection to these symbols down here and up here. The only things that I could find that would remotely resemble any of this is actually a couple of things. One is going to be the symbol. It's hidden over here. There's a symbol over here that's a little bit hidden, but it's the way that it's structured looks like it's arched, and the only place that we see a lot of these arched type of symbolism is going to be in Scala. And this is from some like example. This one down here has the arch, which is a little bit similar. We also have the arch over here, which resembles the land of departure, if we are all familiar with what the land of departures um, uh, the land of departures arch looks like. We also have that as well. That could possibly be the case. I haven't really found anything that looks like this symbol yet. This almost, to me, kind of looks like an eyeball in the center of it, kind of similar to like the Master of Masters. Similarly, because it doesn't look like this, which is very apparent all over the place in Scala. I did try to look as well into the corridors for Kingdom Hearts 2 inside of Hollow Bastion to look for these symbols up here that appear on the wall, and we do have a possible match. However, there is an issue here, and that is if we get close over here, we have these right here. These are basically an upside down version of these symbols right here. Did I think that this symbol right here and this would make them similar, and this is just like a rebuilt library from Hollow Bastion? Yes, that was one of my also thoughts. However, after going in and looking at the library itself, the only symbol that really pops up here is this one, and this doesn't really look like anything that we have here. So I'm thinking that we are closer to Scala now than I do anywhere else. So more than likely this is going to be Scala. However, there is also one other place that this could be and would possibly make this very interesting, is that instead of this being Scala, because if we look at Scala has different symbolism. What if this place is past Daybreak Town? Now, if we've all played Remind, we understand the correlation between what Scala is and what Daybreak Town is, especially at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, seeing the visuals and things like that, that there is a small possibility, especially with also the ability for time traversal, to be able to go back and revisit Daybreak Town as it once was before the initial Keyblade War. Now, the other thing that we're going to notice in this photo as well is going to be up here at the top. I am wondering that if this is going to be a mechanism for opening something, or if this is going to be our new save points. But we do have this strange light. It's a red light, so what I'm assuming is more of a mechanism to maybe move some things around, open doors, maybe even adjust these right here since they have some chains, so you can access different areas, since this is about a 3-story tall building, which did write off some of the locations that I initially thought before. But this one, like I said, has some of the biggest like question marks for me, because I would love to know where this library is, because we've seen so many, and if this is a new one, we are in for a boatload of information. Moving on down, we can start here. We have another close-up of Sora's new design. Sora looks like such a baby here. Definitely doesn't look like he's grown up at all. His necklace is a lot smaller. As you can see here, he's sporting a leather pleather jacket with this little hoodie in the back here, and he's clearly staring at something with intent, something probably bright, because you can see it in his eyes here that he's looking at something quite bright. So I'm wondering if this is just a turnaround of maybe this scene right here, if this is just the exact same scene. We have a bright light, which could be, seems like it is consuming something, or maybe even making something appear. We kind of see this kind of similar bright light in a lot of the openings and endings for Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. with the restoration of the worlds and things like that. So there is a possibility that this could be a restoration of something as well. I can't really make out too much of else what's in this video. There are underneath some roads here. There's a lot of cars, possibly a monster over here, a Heartless maybe, but Sora is standing pretty still here, and so I'm wondering if this is more of a symbolism of recreation or restoration here. I'm really excited to see that. A lot of the stuff that we have here is going to be from the New World, the supposed Shibuya. And the next is the new version of Dark Side. This is another image. And what we have here, which has been also stumping the community a bit, is these two lights here. Now, what I think is quite interesting is that these are two different color lights. However, I do believe that this light over here may be two people at once. And I say that because you can, if you look at this trail extremely closely, I'm going to get a little closer here so you can see this trail has two lights compared to this one. This is, you can tell, is one cohesive trail. We're going to assume this is probably Sora. Sora is usually represented by a golden light, a golden warm light as it is. However, this one over here, there seems to be almost like a, if you look pretty closely, you can tell that there is a split yellow on this side and a split blue on this side. So I'm wondering if this is actually two people coming in, which would make me think that this may be both Riku and maybe Kairi, or this could be King Mickey and Riku here. So I'm wondering if that's going to be the case here, but these two lights do represent something. But I do think that this is three people here and not just two, just considering the color split here. And it's something that you really kind of wouldn't notice if you're kind of like looking at it from far away. You would just assume that it's just two lights. However, I truly believe that this is going to be three different beings here. Even if it's not just Sora, I do think that this is going to be our trio for the game, and I'm really curious on who they are or what they are. And so that's all that we have for right now. Like I said, I think that there is a lot for us to unpack here. I'm very curious to see what the rest of the community comes up with. Those are my initial thoughts. I'm going to be doing even more of a deep dive into this and probably going back and replaying the games just so I can see if I can go analyze all the rooms in every single place to see if I can pick out anything else, especially back into 3, and see if I can go and peek into some of the symbols around Scala to see if I can get any closer to the library thing. But what are your thoughts on the new screenshots? What are you very excited about? What are you hoping that they add to the game? Where do you think the library is? I definitely want to hear everything. I'm definitely curious to get together with some other theorizers and lore keepers and see what they have to say about it as well. If you like videos and want to see more videos like this, let me know down in the comments below. I definitely would love to do some more analysis, deep dive, lore keeping with you all. Even some theorizing would be really fun. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see you guys next time.